Hey there, we are going to look at the 1800s famous artists. We have Vincent Van Gogh, who's famous for the Starry Night. Claude Monet, world famous artist, who's famous, won the Poppies, have portraits in the foreground. And Caspar Fredreich, one of my favorites, is Crossing the Mountains. He also has the world famous, we're about to look at what these artists did in the 1800s, which is the Impressionism period. And that's when the artists started to leave the Renaissance period, which is Michelangelo, Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael. You guys know, if you're one of my art students, these guys were famous for not only realism, but photorealism, where it looks so realistic you can't tell if it's a photo. That's called photorealism. It's Raphael. That is a Da Vinci. All right, so now we're loosening up. We're looking at the 1800s. They are the artists of Van Gogh, Monet. They showed the brushstrokes. You can see they dabbed on the flowers. And that's what we're going to try, is the art of the Romantic period now. Vincent Van Gogh's sunflowers as well. So let's look at our choices of the art that we're going to do. While I go back to my computer, I'll show you one of my heroes. If you can't see him over there, yep. We'll just have inspiration not only from the 1800s, but from MLK. He said, "I've decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden to bear." Love him. All right, so back to the art of Caspar David Fredreich. Like I showed you some of my favorites of his. The Cross on the Hill. There's a lot of them to look through. I'm not going to look through all of them right now, but I'm going to let you know that there's a lot of videos, and a lot of them look at this particular one because it has deep meaning. And I just want to introduce to you the world's most famous art, and then you're going to pick one of these Romantic period artists and study it. We're going to look at it. We're going to go through our famous artist grading rubric, and you're going to get your rubric. Your title is going to be your artist name in a neat font, your brief bio, your art replica, adding your ideas to your art, your opinion or observations, full design of page, small print by the artist, and a website required so you don't get a fail of plagiarism. I'm telling my students to also add something of personal expression. If you could add your own photography and learn something from the world's most famous artists and their style. Can you tell which one this is and how big it is in true life? Wow, majestic, right? It's Claude Monet, and he's the founder of the French Impressionistic painting. This is on e-biography on YouTube. And not Mozart, Monet, but our last one that we're looking at is who did the Starry Night? What's his name? Van Gogh. You got it. And we're going to, if you're in my class on Google Classroom, we have the videos to see that tell us a little bit about these artists, so you can decide for yourself which artists you'd like to dive into and study. And then when we look at their style and how they loosened up and showed impressions, we're going to see if you have photography to use and to try it with their style. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, as we walk through the art classroom together, I wanted to show you that if you have art that is your idea and you use your idea with art by a famous artist, like you see on our art history wall here, if you use your idea with your photography, you avoid plagiarism. Okay, so here is The Kiss by Gustav Klimt, what my artists are working on right now with gold paint and fine details, showing symbolism as he did. He used birds and skulls to depict death, so I'm encouraging my students to use a dove, symbol of the Holy Spirit, or crosses to depict life. But as you can see, I have used photography of my son and what was then his fiancée, now his wife, and I changed it up, and that way you can personalize and do your replicas, where you can use your art then for your final project series if you make it your own. So let me show you another way to do that, and then you're going to dive into, hey, which one do I want to dive into? Which artist from the 1800s can I learn the most from, can I glean from? So let's look at what Mrs. Smith, your art teacher here at school on my planning period, getting this lesson ready as we're diving into portraiture. Sorry about the quality. I have a limited, I wanted you to know you can do the background first. We are going to use, I'm going to use acrylic paints like Van Gogh, like I'm teaching you to do the Van Gogh swirl. So this is the facts, right? One side has your prints and one side is full art. So that way you have something for your series. Now remember, personalize it. I did my own background based on my likes, what I like. I did some mountains in the background based on things that I think are beautiful. And I did a portrait that reminded me of my daughter who's in heaven with the auburn reddish hair. And I made wings on her and did Christian symbols. So I want you guys to think about how you can, with your replica, change it and make it your own. And so, yeah, I wanted to show you who I was looking at. Emily Renee Smith, right there with the red hair, is who I was thinking about when I did that. So I want you to think about who can you replica if you in portraits, since I'm teaching portraiture, and you have to add a portrait in the scene of what you're doing a replica of with the world's most famous artist. All right, so jam on it, my friends. Can't wait to see yours.